Hello and welcome to Clydebridge Station. One of the most important stalls at Model Rail Scotland in 2018, one of the most important trade stalls, was at the Bachmann trade stall. And one of the most important models to be demonstrated and displayed at that was the forthcoming Mk2 driving brake standard open in both blue and grey and ScotRail livery. That DBSO was released to the public in October and November, and I'm very pleased to say after some delay I've managed to get my hands on a Bachmann Mk2F DBSO. Now I'm not going to go into the full history of push-pull operations in the Scottish region. I'll wait until Oxford Rail have released their Mk2, their Mk3s coaches in ScotRail livery in early 2019. And then we'll talk about the full history. But just a brief thing for you. The Mk2F's DBSOs were converted at Derby Works in 1979 to 1980. 13 of them were converted, and they were used mainly on the Edinburgh-Glasgow push-pull workings with a Class 47 locomotive that was converted with push-pull equipment, the RCH jumper system, and numbered 47 Class 47/7. A 14th one was converted at Glasgow in 1985 to replace 9706, which was written off in the Pullman disaster of 1984, when a cow got onto the main line near Pullman and a DBSO hit it and derailed the train, causing the sad loss of life as well in the process. That explains the cow catcher that's on here, and I'll come back to that in a moment. After their use in Scotland was finished when Class 158s took over, these DBSOs were moved over to the Anglian region of Intercity for use on the Norwich to London service with suitably equipped Class 86s using time division multiplex, a more modern push-pull system. And I'm happy to say that the vast majority of these DBSOs still exist. One of them is preserved and is going to be restored to its ScotRail colours, and hopefully they're going to put TDM equipment into 47712 Lady Diana Spencer, which will allow us to once again experience true ScotRail Express push-pull operation. Now, the first thing to say about this DBSO is that I had originally ordered it from Hatton's, but there had been considerable delay in getting a DBSO in for some reason, of not being arriving into stock yet at Hatton's. However, I was very fortunate that David Watson, who runs Dean Park Station, was able to get me a DBSO from somebody else who had a spare one that was surplus, and that's why I've now got this one here. So I just need to explain to you why that was the delay in getting one. Now, the DBSO that you see here is numbered 9707, and we're looking at it from one end of the cab end and the offside, as it were, as if you were sitting in the driver's seat. That is how it compares on the other side, by the way. Bachmann have made these Mk2F DBSOs in such a way that they're only going to be operated they're only going to be sold with DCC fitted. You cannot buy them without DCC, unlike their current Mk2F coaches in blue and grey and Intercity livery, which are either with DCC or without DCC. You have the choice. You don't have that with the DBSO. That does make it a bit more expensive than what I think people would have wanted it to be. At the same time, it is understandable why Bachmann have supplied it with DCC fitted as standard, because obviously you have the working lights there, and there are other DCC functions as well. I'm going to just change the direction of travel on the decoder, and there you go, you see that's it now, as if it was actually being pulled by the locomotive, pushed again by the locomotive. The functions on the DCC decoder I'll come to in a few moments, but I want to give my own thoughts on the DBSO from having had a good look at it. As with all coaches, it has a full detailing kit. I haven't put that detailing kit on except for one little thing, and that is down here, and that is the, I don't know if you can just see that, so I'm going to zoom in a bit more and let you see the cow catcher. That's it there, the cow catcher. That was actually installed as a safety recommendation to the DBSOs after the 1984 Pullman accident. And it's designed as an obstacle deflector so that things could be pushed away. What happened at Pullman was that cow's legs got underneath the DBSO and it caused the train to derail. I have to say as well though, aesthetically pleasing with the cow catcher on. It is more aesthetically pleasing, the DBSO, and it does make it look more complete. The DBSOs actually in blue-grey livery also come with a cow catcher, and I do believe that one or two of them did run in blue-grey with the cow catcher. I haven't been able to confirm that, but I do believe that did happen. If we compare it to 9714, which we see in the 1990 edition of Locomotive and Coaching stock, we can actually use this photo to look at the front end of the DBSO, although albeit from the opposite side. So it just gives you a little contrast there. And Bachmann have picked it out very well. The running lights are absolutely correct, as is the fan grille. One thing I have noticed on there is it might annoy some people, is just at the top there, there's maybe a little bit of yellow paint has splattered onto the tail lights, just a little bit, but nothing to detract too much from the model, I would say. I don't have any overhead shots of the DBSO, so we're really just going to have to look at it from base level, but you can see there how aesthetically pleasing the cow catcher makes the DBSO look. And the bogies are correctly picked out in red, although dirt and grime would eventually made them just turn to a brown colour anyway. The livery is absolutely spot on. The position of the BR symbols is absolutely correct. We're looking at that from the other side, by the way, compared to the photograph. The lettering has got guard on it just there, as you can see, and it's also correctly got the no smoking stickers installed. And the luggage cage appears to be exactly that, a cage as well, which would mean that it goes ahead with the Mk2F DBSO, which actually is what the DBSO is based upon, it must be remembered, of course. And there is a Mk2F DBSO there, that's the Bachmann one, which I reviewed in a previous video. The actual cab door here on the front is detachable. When they were first delivered in 1979, they did not have this plate on them, and muck and grime got in through the gangway that was sealed off, and it also allowed drafts to come through, so this was a later addition. If you're running the blue-grey one, you could run it without this on it, but if you're running it in ScotRail livery, you will have to have this on it. And just in case you are wondering, some ScotRail DBSOs, ScotRail livery DBSOs, did not run with the cow catcher initially. What I mean by that is they were painted into ScotRail livery before being given the cow catcher. I've seen a photo of one arriving at Glasgow Queen Street in 1984 in that condition. Now, my only gripe with the DBSO, as I say, is down here, and it is to do with the cow catcher. I'm going to actually have to explain this to you by picking the DBSO up carefully. That's the cow catcher installed there, and it therefore obstructs the NEM pocket. It doesn't actually go into the NEM pocket. It goes into two little slots that are it goes into two little slots in between the buffers, and that is where the and doing that means that the cow catchers get obstructs the NEM pockets, so you can't put a coupling on. Now you might think that's not a major issue at all, but I do want to actually make this point to you. When I was a young child growing up, I remember going with my dad down to Kirkcaldy for a little while, and we were hanging around watching some of the trains arrive, and one of them was a ScotRail Express going to Aberdeen. The DBSO was the first coach, but it was actually being pulled by a non-push-pull equipped loco, a class 47-4. It's like 47436 behind you there. And that did sometimes happen on the Glasgow Aberdeen and Edinburgh Aberdeen circuits. If there was no push-pull equipped loco available, they would actually use a 47-4 instead. And in what would have been push mode, the DBSO would actually be immediately behind a locomotive. Now, that obviously means that if you want to recreate that sort of thing, you would have to run it without the cow catcher. But if you're wanting to run, say, the Air at my layout set in 1989, you have to run the cow catcher. It means you can't actually do that. You can't couple a loco up there. Also means that for shunt, if you want to try and shunt this DBSO around, again, you can't really do that. I don't know how you would actually be able to modify the cow catcher to do it, and it is the only gripe I've got with the DBSO. Otherwise, it is a very, very well presented machine. And if we look at it from the other side, I'll just put the camera down like that, you can actually see that it has got the coach lighting jumpers, C1 mark, and flashes there for the overhead hazards. It is a very, very well represented machine, this. It doesn't have sprung buffers, but then it doesn't need to have sprung buffers. However, the cow catcher, as I say, whilst it makes it look aesthetically pleasing, it does obstruct the coupling. That's the only problem you'll have with that. I'm sure there'll be people out there who will attempt to have a go at modifying this for themselves. Now, the one last little thing to say about this DBSO is that this is really a very, very popular thing, and I know that Bachmann have already sold out, so do be warned. At the time of filming this video in mid-December 2018, it was over £70 for this. Be warned, retailers might decide when they get the next batch in to exploit that. So don't be frightened to try and hang off and wait and see what happens. You may well find people try to sell these on eBay as well for X amount of pounds. So do be warned about that. The DBSO has of course got some functions on it. So we've got obviously there the cab, the front end lights. That's it, onto the tail lights. There's a couple other functions, I don't know. That's them off and that's them on. And I'm just pressing these randomly to see what on earth actually happens. That's the cab light on. And you'll notice also it's got the windscreen wiper only on the one side, as is correct per the photograph of 9714. Just turn that off again. Gas compartment lights are on, that's function 3. Turn that off again. By the way, you could actually run it with both on, cab light and the guards light. Function 4, saloon lights on. I'll just put the saloon lights back on to let you see that they are. I remember travelling a couple of these DBSOs and the blue seating is absolutely correct for the DBSO. I notice when you have the saloon lights on, it also has this half, whoops, has that half door there, and also goes to out there as well. There is a toilet window on the other side. You'll notice that if I put the camera there, that's illuminated there. I'll just turn all the other functions off at the moment, and leave the tail lights on. Now the only one problem that I've got is that I don't have the Oxford Rail Mk3s yet. I'm waiting on them coming in. And because of the size of my layout, I can only run 3-coach trains, so it'll just be a Mk3 Oxford Rail TSO and a Mk3 Oxford Rail Composite in ScotRail livery when we do get them in. And the problem with the old Hornby coaches that I have on this layout at the moment is that they have the old wheels, and that's causing them to derail on some of the Bachmann points. But I'm going to have a go with it now and try and see if I can get the DBSO to run with these up and down using platform number 1 road, so bear with me. Now this test may not go to plan because, as I already mentioned, the DBSO has got Bachmann wheels in it, but the ScotRail coaches have got the 1980s Hornby wheels, and they are not, as I'll tell you, they are not actually compatible with Bachmann points. So this is actually going to be quite an interesting little experiment. The Bachmann DBSO on my layout is numbered 707, and that ties in nicely with the push-pull locomotive 708. So I'm just going to run this forward. I won't run it all the way down the layout. I'm only going to run it forward for a little bit if the damn thing would actually go. And there we go. Because as I say, I don't know how successful this is going to be with the wee Hornby coaches. So what we'll do is we'll actually just send it into the... Whoops, a daisy, there's what I thought might happen. There we go. I did think... I wasn't quite expecting that, but I was expecting something to go wrong there, so... But I suspect that that's more just a case of the problem with the coaches. So what we'll do is we'll just send that in there. And what we'll do now is we'll send it back in. And we'll actually change the lighting system. You have to obviously program the DBSO, by the way, on your programming track. So let's get it back and see what can be propelled and no bother. And there instantly is the problem I was expecting. As you can see there, this is obviously going to be a problem that I'm not going to be able to get properly resolved until we get the new Oxford Rail coaches in. Some people have said, you can see, because the coach is actually riding piggyback onto the locomotive coupling, so it's not, as I say, these coaches from Hornby are 1980s style coaches, and I'm afraid to say they are showing their age now. Anyway, we'll see how successful it can go now. Yeah, you see it's still derailed, and that's a problem that's actually causing the loco to derail these old Hornby coaches. It's going to be trial and error. I'm going to have some, as you can see there as well, we've got this problem here with the wheels, as I say, the old Hornby coaches not going over the Bachmann points. They do not like Bachmann points, the old style wheels. Yeah, it's what I'm maybe actually tempted to do is, it depends really upon whether the couplings can be removed on the Oxford Rail coaches. We'll just try and somehow run that in. There we go. What I'll do is I'll turn all the power off now. What it's going to be a major hurdle, but what I am thinking of doing is when the new Oxford Rail coaches come out, I'm going to be looking at the possibility of using these pipe couplings. Now I've got these now, and they'll do in the Bachmann coaches. They'll be installed on this Bachmann rake here because the coaches won't actually be uncoupled, you see, from each other. They'll only be uncoupled at locos, so I'll have a spare one. I think I've actually got two spare, and there's one for the DBSO. So what I might actually do is experiment by using the pipe couplers on the Oxford Rail coaches, providing that the NEM couplings can be taken out, and take the coupling out of that end of the push-pull loco, and obviously that means that the whole set will be permanently coupled. I think that's the way that I'll end up going. So, but I'll have to wait and see what Oxford Rail bring us in January, or whenever they do actually get around to releasing them. But I'm told that they are now close to release. So that's the best I can tell you about the Mk2 DBSO at the moment, and the best I can do for demonstrating it. But I'm very pleased that I've actually now got one of these. And as a final way of a contrast to you, this is what I find quite amazing is that this is the old one. I'm going to actually put it on because when I put it into the box earlier, would you believe it, the whole body came off. But I'm going to get the other bit out and we'll clip it on, and you'll actually see the improvement in technology over the years. It'll also allow you to see when whoever made up the old DBSO that I bought on the layout had put the seating arrangements on the wrong way round. So it would actually have to have been turned round. That one's actually got the seating arrangements quite correct, so I'm actually made a very good choice. That was an old Airfix product. I'll probably end up keeping that, but I'll get the body put on the correct way. So, as I say, that's the best I can do for you now with the Mk2F DBSO. The next video you see will come out just before or on Christmas Day, and it'll be a review of what I've been up to in December of 2018. One last little point, Strathpeffer Junction has got one of these as well. Have a look at his video. And David Watson on Dean Park Station, he's also got one of these DBSOs now. And as I say, it was him that actually got me that one. So my thanks to him. So check out those two layouts as well. Other layouts to keep an eye on are New Junction, Dudley Central, and if you want to know how to get cars and that to move on your layout, well, Everard Junction's just put up a video in the last 24 hours. That was on the 18th of December 2018. Check out his one. I think it's Magomatic or something it's called. It's not something that I'll be able to use on this layout. So that's that for the moment. I'm awfully sorry I couldn't get the push-pull train to work properly in push mode, but hopefully the day will come when we'll actually get that changed. Let me know what you think of the DBSO, and please check out those other layouts. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now.